Well, Yvonne, the rescue crews actually held a press conference, the coordinating agency, and said that the black box that they did find is in such a state of damage that upon initially finding it and examining it, they're not even sure if it's the flight recorder or the cockpit microphone that records the exchanges between the pilots. Those are the two different black boxes. They obviously want to recover both of them to analyse those separate sets of data to try and get some sort of idea about what went so terribly wrong at 30,000 feet to cause this Boeing 737-800 to plunge from the sky. But at the very least, for the 1,000+ rescue crews and soldiers who are scouring that site in southern Guangxi province, at least they've recovered one of those two black boxes. Even though it is very damaged, that does give some hope that they can begin that investigative work pretty much immediately, and the search continues for the second black box, but also to technically speaking, Liu He, who's a very senior Chinese official who's been tasked with overseeing all this, he was saying earlier in the day to the search crews that you must pull out all the stops, don't relax at all, because as long as there's a glimmer of hope, we must keep searching. Now, I don't think there's any realistic expectation that there are any survivors at this point, but they are finding people's personal belongings, wallets, identity documents, those sorts of things, and of course, anything that they can recover from this crash site will be incredibly valuable to the family members of the victims.
Indeed. What can you tell us about the relatives of the victims who've been bused to a village near the site?
Yeah, so Chinese authorities have organised for most families of those 132 victims to be organised near the crash site at a village. One man whose nephew was on that flight from Kunming to Guangzhou, he said to media that all he wishes for is to maintain some sort of hope. At this point, as I said, there's no realistic expectation of survivors, but the fact that they're bringing the family there to the crash site so that they are closely working with the teams that are scouring the wreckage site, that are recovering those personal items. At the very least, I suppose, this is an effort to have the family members deeply involved. Also, too, an interesting little thing, one of the senior officials tasked with this investigation was saying to aviation officials, we must be transparent, we must release information as it comes out. That said, when there was a press conference this afternoon about the recovery efforts so far, it was carried live on state TV, but as soon as it cut to the journalists' questions, state TV cut away. So, as usual, I suppose there are some questions about transparency, but at this initial point, I think, Yvonne, people are just wanting to get that investigation going and wanting to find out what went so terribly wrong.
Understandably. Bill Birtles, thanks for updating us.
Thank you.